Hello everyone! Thank you for joining the webinar on the introduction to ecCLOUD, which is the first cloud controller launched by Edgecore Networks. We're very happy to see you here today. If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to send them, and we'll do our best to answer them in the Q&A session at the end. So let's begin. Some of you may already have experience with cloud controllers, while some of you may not have used them before. To get everyone on board, we would like to start by presenting a use case in the hospitality sector where cloud controllers can be leveraged for network management. Say you're an IT manager working at a hotel chain, which has locations around the world with networks deployed, and you're in charge of managing these networks. These networks are not only dispersed, but also comprise a large number of networking devices, including many access points and switches. So how would you like to manage your networks? Also, as the business is going well for the hotel chain, it continues to expand to new locations. How will you cope with this network expansion? And while you're the one overseeing network operations worldwide, you would like to have local IT staffs doing the day-to-day monitoring and maintenance tasks. And this brings us to how cloud controllers can be leveraged in a scenario like this. First of all, with cloud controllers, network expansions become easy to handle because cloud controllers can support scalability, and there's practically no limit. Then, as the networks are dispersed, as in this scenario, being able to have easy and reliable access to on-premises equipment for network management at these separate locations can be a challenge. But with cloud controllers, you and your local IT staffs can have access from anywhere, anytime, as long as there's internet connection. And you can have different administrative privileges. While the use case presented here is in the hospitality sector, use cases can be found across all sectors. As the world becomes ever more connected, networks will only grow and expand. Whether it's networks deployed in your factories, warehouses, or office buildings, they all have to be managed. And using cloud controllers can really simplify the task of network management. And this brings us to what ecCLOUD can offer, which is what we'll be covering in this webinar. ecCLOUD is the latest addition to the Edgecore product family. It is a new cloud controller launched under the Edgecore brand, and it is accessible through the internet from anywhere, anytime. You can be in New York while managing your networks in London. As a member of the Edgecore product family, ecCLOUD provides unified control and visibility over not only Edgecore devices, but also IgniteNet devices. Moreover, with ecCLOUD, you can easily manage networks of multiple sites in the same cloud. So in ecCLOUD, a site is a logical grouping of devices, maps, and common configurations. A site can be used to represent a geographical location or an organization, for example, and you can choose for all the devices under a particular site to inherit site-level settings. Device onboarding is also easy. To register a device on the cloud, simply scan the barcode found on the device. Then once you have the devices on board, remote firmware upgrades can be performed, and you can even schedule them to run at a future date. Then add-ons can be optionally purchased to unlock more advanced features. Two add-ons that are worth mentioning are AuthPort and QuickSplash. AuthPort allows the system to perform AAA on wireless clients, whereas QuickSplash allows you to customize captive portal per SSID. Here's a list of Edgecore and IgniteNet devices that can be managed by ecCLOUD. So with ecCLOUD, you have the option to mix Edgecore and IgniteNet devices on the same network for more flexible deployments. So let's begin to talk more about ecCLOUD. And here is an outline of the topics that will be covered. We'll start by introducing the cloud hierarchy and how multi-level management is achieved through this hierarchy. Then once you're on ecCLOUD, we provide intuitive dashboards and live statistics for real-time monitoring. Alerts and notifications are also supported to keep users informed of all the latest changes on the cloud. We'll also talk about how quick device onboarding is done to help you save time and money when setting up your networks. Following this, we'll explain how ecCLOUD allows for enhanced network security and access control once your networks are up and running. In this section, we'll introduce the add-on auth port, which was mentioned earlier and can be used for performing AAA on wireless clients. Then we'll introduce QuickSplash, the other add-on that we have also mentioned. It is a convenient tool for customizing captive portal for your wireless networks. And after we've gone through these topics, we'll do a live demo of ecCLOUD and then end the webinar with a Q&A session. The hierarchy of ecCLOUD forms the basis for multi-level management. As you can see, the topmost level is the cloud level. Then going down, you have the site level and the device level. In ecCLOUD, you can have multiple sites created under a cloud, and then under each site, you can register multiple devices. So going from the top to the bottom, you have the cloud level, the site level, and the device level. If you want devices under a particular site to have the same configurations, then you can configure settings at the site level, and these settings will be automatically pushed to all the devices that inherit site level settings. However, you can also choose for the devices not to inherit site level settings, or you can even overwrite site level settings at the device level. Then across the network, you might have multiple IT managers, and ecCLOUD also supports role-based administrative privileges. For example, you can designate accounts to be site users so that they can only have access to specific sites. Here is an example showing how network deployment for a hotel chain can fit into the hierarchy of ecCLOUD. This hotel has locations in 3 geographical regions: Europe, Asia Pacific, and Africa. For network management, the IT manager decides to place geographical regions at the cloud level and cities where locations have been set up at the site level. While the IT manager can oversee the operation from the cloud level, he wants to have local IT staffs in each city to manage networks from the site level. So let's take Europe as an example. The IT manager has placed 2 local IT teams, one based in London and the other one based in Berlin, so that each team can be in charge of the networks deployed in the city they're based. And they can just report back to the IT manager only when there are major network changes or issues. Providing intuitive dashboards and live statistics helps save network administrators time and effort because it allows them to quickly see network health and take the necessary steps to resolve any arising issues. In ecCLOUD, dashboards are available at all levels that we've just talked about. On the dashboards, you can see site and device health, configuration state, and location of the devices in the integrated Google Maps. A variety of live statistics also make real-time monitoring possible. For example, you can see live stats on your wireless networks, Ethernet ports, and the system in general. How much traffic is flowing through the Ethernet ports, what is the memory usage and CPU utilization of the system, and so on. Let's take a look at the dashboards. Here's the dashboard at the cloud level. Note that the dashboards we show in this presentation are all default dashboards. You can add and customize additional dashboards by clicking on the plus sign that's being shown on the screen. And from the top, you can see that we have 2 sites and 2 devices that are up and running as indicated by the green circle. Then the configuration state and registration state are also normal. Then in the activity box, we can see history of recent activities such as site changes or configuration changes. And on the status map, we can see that we have placed 2 sites on the map. So let's take a closer look at this. We can see that the site in London has 2 devices registered under it, whereas the site in Berlin doesn't have any devices registered just yet. Now moving on to the site dashboard. You can see that we're viewing the default dashboard of a site called Demo Site under a cloud called Demo. And on the site menu, you can also see the name of the site, which is Demo Site. Then in System Status, you can see device health, configuration state, registration state, and today's traffic. Similarly, there is also an activity box showing configuration changes, channel changes, and so on. Then on the status map, you can see where the devices associated with this site have been placed. Let's take a closer look. So you can see that one of the devices has been placed near King's Cross Station in London, whereas the other one has been placed near Euston Station. Now let's move on to the dashboard at the device level. Remember, this is the bottom level. Again, you can see from the top that you're viewing a device called ecCLOUD5211-L under Demo Site and Demo Cloud. In this example, we're viewing an Edgecore access point with the model name ecCLOUD5211-L. In device information, a lot of useful information about the device is displayed here, including the site it is associated with, its firmware version, MAC address, serial number, model, and more. If the device is reachable from your current network, you can also click on the WAN IP to access the device's web UI directly. On the top right, you can also find buttons for you to quickly perform a reboot or a firmware upgrade. If you scroll down the page, you will also see live status of the radios and the Ethernet ports. So in this example, we have 2 clients connected on the 5 GHz radio, and you can see that both channel utilization and radio utilization are low. And only Ethernet port 0 is connected with traffic, and Ethernet port 1 is not connected to anything, so it's grayed out and shows no link. Detailed information about the connected wireless clients can be viewed at both the site level and the device level. First, let's check this information at the site level. So at the site level, we can go to Wireless Clients page on the site menu. Here you can see download and upload speeds, most active clients in the last 5 minutes, and most importantly, all the information about the connected wireless clients, such as which SSID they're connected to, their IP addresses, the channel being used, and signal strengths. You can also select the desired date range and export the list if needed. Then let's go to the device level and view information about the wireless clients here. Note that because you're at the device level, you'll only be viewing wireless clients connected on this device. To keep our users informed, we provide an activity page that shows all the changes that have been made to the cloud for your tracking. We also provide a notifications page at the site level that allows full customization of who will receive notifications, what kind of alerts should generate notifications, and how notifications should be sent. Currently, there are 2 options, by email or by Slack. We believe that being able to quickly bring the devices on board is important for creating a good user experience. With ecCLOUD, simply register the device on the cloud by barcode scanning, or by entering its serial number and MAC address. You will assign the device to a site for management, so remember to create a site beforehand. Then after the device connects to the internet, it will reach out to the cloud for identity verification. And once verified, the device will be added to the list of managed devices, and configurations can be automatically pushed to the device if it has inherent site settings selected. ecCLOUD supports automatic VLAN configurations on the switch. Our APs support VLAN tagging, or 802.1q. In the case where you're using Edgecore switches with access points, our cloud can synchronize VLAN settings on the AP to the connected switch ports, so IT staff do not have to reconfigure the switches every time their VLAN changes on the AP. This is helpful because configuring switch settings can be very complex, and by letting the cloud do the job, human error can be removed. Once the devices have been added to a site, the system will automatically generate a network topology for easy visualization of your deployments. Here is a sample network topology. You can see that on the left, 4 slave devices are connected to a master device, and on the right, there is an SPW2AC1200 and 2 Edgecore access points connected to an Edgecore switch. To make sure that only legit devices can access the network through the switch, we provide switch port security that allows network administrators to restrict access based on a pre-configured list of MAC addresses. You can specify whether to block or authorize network access for each MAC address on this list. And MAC addresses not on this list will be denied network access. In the example shown here, there are 2 entries. The MAC address in blue can be authorized network access, and the MAC address in red will be denied network access. You may have a potential hacker trying to connect a ROC AP or a computer to the switch, but since the MAC address of the computer is the MAC address in red, and the MAC address of the ROC AP is not on this list, they will be both denied network access. This feature prevents unauthorized devices from accessing your network from the connected switch. And note that this MAC authentication can be enabled or disabled per switch port. Just now we have covered access control on the switch. So how about access control on the access points? How can we manage network access and usage of our wireless clients? So AuthPort, as mentioned, is an add-on we provide for authentication, authorization, and accounting of wireless clients. When AuthPort is enabled, wireless clients will be asked to log in through Captive Portal before they can be authorized internet access. Accounts that are used for login have to be created beforehand on the cloud in the built-in database. And each account is affiliated with a service plan that defines certain network privileges for the account. AuthPort also supports accounting to help you keep track of account usage. For example, how much time or data remains for the account. So this is how AuthPort works. AuthPort relies on a built-in account database and service plans. Service plans have to be created before accounts can be created. So the first step would be to set up at least one service plan in which quota and time constraints can be specified. You can also choose if you want to allow more than one device to share the same account. Then once you're done creating these service plans, you can create accounts affiliated with these plans and provide them to your customers so that they can log in to surf the internet. And as network usage of each account is governed by the service plan that the account is affiliated with, you'll be able to ensure reasonable use of network resources for your users. And network administrators can manage accounts or check account status in real time. ecCLOUD also supports Layer 3 roaming for wireless clients. It is a practical feature because you may have deployments that span over a large area and there are many APs to provide service. And Layer 3 roaming ensures that users will not be asked to log in again every time they move to another AP. The cloud will do the roaming for these users so that they can remain logged in. As mentioned earlier, we have an add-on called Quick Splash that will allow you to customize Captive Portal for splash page per SSID. Within the editor, you can create multiple templates, and you can drag and drop modules to add text boxes, videos, links, and so on, so that anyone can easily craft their own splash page even if they're not familiar with web development. For example, at a hotel, you may broadcast one SSID for guests who are staying, and another SSID for visitors that come and go. So you can present different sets of splash pages to these different groups. For example, you can present guest-only events on the splash page for guests, and you can present advertisements or promotions on the splash page for visitors. And besides the two add-ons that we have just covered, there are more add-ons that can be unlocked. Please check ecCLOUD for the latest offerings. Now let's start the live demo of ecCLOUD. In this live demo, we will take you through the basics of ecCLOUD. So how to register on ecCLOUD for the first time, the cloud hierarchy, how to create sites as well as how to add devices. Then we'll show you how to enable the two add-ons that we have just covered, which are AuthPort and Quick Splash. When you visit ecCLOUD's website, you'll be asked to log in. Since you don't already have an account, please click on I want to register here at the bottom and fill in the required information to register. Let's assume that you already have an account, so let's go back to the login page and log in. After logging in, the first thing you'll see is the Cloud dashboard and the Cloud menu on the left, so you know that you're at the Cloud level. For the demonstration, we have already created a cloud called Edgecore University, as shown here. You can also click here to reveal options to switch clouds if you have other clouds set up already, or you can go to Manage Clouds to add more clouds if you like. Now let's go back to the Cloud dashboard. You can view system status, activity, and status map here as we've covered earlier. You can also scroll down the page to see other information. Now let's take a look at the Cloud menu on the left. If you go to the Devices page, you'll be able to see all the devices that are being managed by this cloud. Here you can see we have 2 devices that are being managed by this cloud. Then we can go to the Activity page to see all the recent changes on the cloud. We can also go to Site Management to add or remove sites. Then User Management to invite users and give them different administrative privileges based on their roles. Also, you can buy add-ons, manage your licenses and billing for this cloud, or configure cloud properties from here. Now, if we want to go to the site level, simply click on Choose a Site to see the drop-down menu and select the site that you want to go to from this menu. For this demonstration, we have created one site called Main Campus. So let's check it out. Once you click on the site, you'll be brought to the site dashboard with site menu displayed on the left. Besides system status, activity, status map, if you scroll down, you can also see other information. From the site level, you can also view and manage devices registered under this site. So let's click on devices. You can see that we have added those 2 devices under this site. The first one is an Edgecore switch, and the second one is an Edgecore access point. You can see that they're both in good shape as indicated by the green boxes here. They're both online with configuration synchronized. The cross here means that this device does not inherit site-level configuration settings, whereas the hook means that this device does inherit site-level configuration settings. To configure settings at the site level, go to Configuration, and for this demonstration, we'll only be concerned with configuration for Wi-Fi access. So once you click on Wi-Fi access, you'll be able to do things like manage your wireless SSIDs, radio settings, and do other networking settings from here. We'll come back to this later. Now we can go to the device level. We'll use the access point as an example. So you can see that this is the device dashboard with device information displayed. And again, we have the device menu on the left. And since I'm able to reach this access point from the network that I'm on, I can click on WAN-IP to access it directly. Okay. And you can also see that this access point is connected to port number 4 of the Edgecore switch that's also being managed. And if you go down, you can see the live status of the radios and the Ethernet ports. Now that we've covered the 3 levels on ecCLOUD, which are the cloud level, the site level, and the device level, we're going to show you how to create a site and to add devices. So let's go back to the cloud level and click on Site Management. Then we can click Add Site here. For example, we would like to add a site called Second Campus. And here are some options that you can enable or disable. And for example, if I want to place this site in London, I can do a search. Then click on Create. And you can choose the regulatory country here and click Save. Once you've created the site, you can go back to Site Management to see it. You can see that a second site has been added successfully. So this is how you would add a site. Then to add devices, just go to the Devices page and click on Add Device. First, you'll have to choose which site you want to register this device or these devices. So we'll choose Main Campus. And here it will also show you how many licenses are still available for registering new devices. And you can choose whether you want these devices to inherit site-level settings or not. Then if you have a lot of devices to be registered, you might want to consider using barcode scanning to add your devices. But if you only have a few devices that you want to register, you can also choose to just enter the serial number and the MAC address of the devices and give them a name for identification. And when you're done, just click on Submit. So this is how you would add devices. Then let's talk about add-ons. Add-ons are available at both the cloud level and the site level. Here we will check the add-ons from the cloud level. So we would like to enable AuthPort and QuickSplash for this demonstration. Some add-ons will require beta features to be enabled on the cloud first. And this is the case for AuthPort and QuickSplash. We have already enabled beta features. To show where you can enable it, click on Properties. Here's where you can enable beta features. And once you've enabled it, click on Save. Now let's go back to add-ons. So once you've enabled beta features for the cloud, you'll be able to purchase these add-ons. You can see that we have already purchased these add-ons. So now we can go ahead to configure related settings. So if you look at the cloud menu, you can see Auth port at the bottom. Note that this option will only show up after you purchase the add-on. So the first thing you do is to add at least one service plan. So click on Service Plans and Add Service Plan. So on campus, we want to regulate students' Wi-Fi usage. So we'll create a service plan for our students. And we would like to give them 1 GB of data over 30 days. And since they will be on campus for some time, we would like to renew this quota monthly. And we would also like to limit sharing of the same account to 3 devices. Then click Confirm. So now we have created a service plan for our students. We can go ahead to add accounts under the service plan. You can choose to add one account, or you can choose to generate a bunch of accounts at the same time. So here we can generate 10 accounts, for example, and you can choose to export these accounts to a file so you can easily manage and store these accounts. So you can later on give these accounts to your students. And click Confirm. And we can save this account information somewhere on your system. You can see that 10 accounts have been created with username and password, and it also shows traffic quota and expiration time and so on. Okay, so that's all for the auth port. Now we're gonna go ahead to set up captive portal. So click on captive portal, and we can add captive portal by clicking this button. So let's add a captive portal for students. You can see that there are already templates available for you to choose from. So let's choose the school template. You can see that this template is almost ready for use. You just need to change the logo, the wording, and the terms and conditions. For example, welcome to Edgecore University. And besides what you see here, you can also add new modules. So you can add text, links, images, videos, maps, and so on. So we would like to add a video here. And we can adjust it to fit inside this white box. Then click on the gear icon to input the correct video source. And when you're done editing this page, just close it, and you can see that the system will automatically save all the changes. So you can see that now we have a captive portal customized for our students. Now, since both AuthPort and QuickSplash are features concerning wireless clients, we will be configuring these settings in Wi-Fi access, and we would like to do that at the site level. So let's go to main campus, and under configuration, go to Wi-Fi access. So we're going to add an SSID for students. We're not going to go into the other settings here because the main purpose of this demo is to show you how to set up auth port and captive portal. So just scroll down, and under network settings, you'll be able to see auth port. You can enable it, and then we can choose the captive portal that we have just customized. Then click on confirm and save. So this completes the setup for AuthPort and Quick Splash. So this is the end of the demo. Thank you for submitting your questions. Although we will not be able to answer all the questions due to the time limit, we do value all of your questions and they will be attended to by our sales representatives after the webinar. So before we begin, we would like to make an official announcement regarding the future for IgniteNet Cloud Controller. IgniteNet Cloud Controller will be migrated to ecCLOUD under the Edgecore brand. However, please rest assured that if you are already using IgniteNet products and cloud, you can continue to manage your devices on ecCLOUD, and your cloud plan subscriptions will be carried over. After the migration, 2 new add-ons including AuthPort and Quick Splash will be available on select IgniteNet models. Please consult your sales representatives for more details. Now, let's begin with the first question. Someone asked, if I've been using Edgecore's EWS controllers, what are some major differences between ecCLOUD and EWS controllers, and how do I choose between them? So ecCLOUD and EWS controller each has its own advantages that make them suitable for certain use cases. We'll mention a few differences here, but please feel free to reach out to us for further discussion on how to choose the right products to fulfill your project requirements. First, the most obvious difference is that ecCLOUD is a virtual controller that sits in the cloud, whereas EWS controllers are physical devices that sit on your private network somewhere, and they may or may not have a public IP address. So you will be able to access ecCLOUD from anywhere through the internet, whereas with EWS controllers, they may not be as easily accessible if you have to get through a private network first. Then ecCLOUD provides the flexibility to mix Edgecore products with IgniteNet products, whereas EWS controllers only manage Edgecore products. Last, while ecCLOUD and EWS controllers both support user management, EWS controllers can provide more fine-grained user management with bandwidth control and additional firewall rules. And speaking of firewall rules, people would like to know if ecCLOUD supports firewall, and the answer is yes. And it is supported under Wi-Fi access. So let's take a look. So let's check it from the site level. So after going to the site level, under configuration and Wi-Fi access, you'll be able to find firewall settings here. We'll not go into the details of each firewall feature, but you can see that you can add firewall rules, you can do port forwarding, and we also support ARP inspection and DHCP snooping. So you can check out the user manual for more details. Now, moving on to the next question. Someone asked, how do I invite a user that can only manage sites? So let's go back to the cloud level. In user management, we're able to invite users from here. So first, just type in the email and then choose site user. You can see that it says here, site level users are bound to the sites that you specify below, and they can further be classified as managers with full write access or guests with only read-only access within their specified sites. So here we can add, for example, the main campus site, and we can make this user a manager. Then you can type a message and invite the person. Okay, next question. Can I change the SSID of a device that has inherited site-level settings? And the answer is yes. You can choose to overwrite site-level settings at the device level. So let's go to the site level first. Okay, and so we have one SSID here. Then let's go to the device level and click on the device. Then go to configuration. Then in wireless SSID, you can see that the origin of this SSID is site. So now if we want to change the SSID settings here, for example, if I enable client isolation, confirm, then you'll see that the origin has been changed to device. And you can see site grayed out, which means that the device level setting has overwritten the site level setting. Remember to save this. Now moving on to the last question. How do I perform firmware update? So you can perform firmware update at the site level. So let's go to the site level and click on devices. Then here you can see the option to upgrade firmware. First, choose your product line. In this demo, we'll be choosing standard Wi-Fi, and the model is ecCLOUD5211. Then you can see that we're able to upgrade to this version, and you can give this task a name and decide when you want to start the upgrade. Then you can see that once you've selected the product line and the model, you can see the devices that can be upgraded listed here. In this case, we have one ecCLOUD5211-L. Then you also have other options such as which devices and whether you want to reset the device to defaults after the upgrade. Then once you are done with the settings, you can click Create. And that's all for performing your firmware upgrade. So that's all for today's webinar. Thanks again for joining us. If you have any questions afterwards, please feel free to contact us at ecwifi@edge-core.com. Thanks again and goodbye. We hope to see you soon.